please. Heavenly Father, as we come to you tonight, we come to you thankful that we live here in Levy County, thankful that we have students and staff that love you and turn to you for guidance and wisdom. Lord, I pray that you would just surround yourself around our country, around our state, around our county, and just put a hedge of protection on them. Lord, we thank you for the blessings that you bestow upon us each and every day. And Lord, we know that there's those that are dealing with sickness and those that have lost loved ones. We pray for you to provide them strength and comfort in those times. Lord, we know it's a time as we hit the holidays where people become sometimes melancholy and just looking for some joy. I pray that you would just provide a snippet and some sampling of joy in their life to uplift their spirits as we head into these holiday season. Lord, we know that you are the reason that we celebrate these holidays, and we're so thankful for you. We lift all these things in your name, we pray. Amen. Amen. You'll address the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Mr. Superintendent. Before we move to the first item of business, which is our board reorganization, I'd like to take a moment to tell you that I have thoroughly enjoyed serving this past year as chairman of this board. A lot of people get nervous and get freaked out about being the chairman of the school board. But I will say it is not nearly that bad because we have good people on this board. And I want to thank you all for your patience. And we have been through some exciting times this year. We've been through some learning experiences, but I have thoroughly enjoyed serving as your chairman this past year. And I am also thoroughly looking forward to moving down there just to be a local school board member again. So at this time, I will turn over the gavel to our superintendent.
Thank you, Mr. Asbell. At this time, so I seek nominations for the chairman of the board.
There is but one person, Mr. Chairman, who could possibly follow in the footsteps of Cameron Asbell. That is the glorious school board member representing Yankeetown, Ms. Ashley Clemency. So at this time, I nominate Ashley Clemency to be our school board chair.
Thank you, sir.
I move nomination cease.
All right. At this time, so we call for a vote for the nomination of Ms. Clemency to take over as the chairwoman. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, please say nay. Motion carries. So at this time, so I'm seeking a nomination for the vice chair.
Mr. Superintendent.
Yes, sir, Mr. Asbell.
There is but one person who can possibly follow Ashley Clemency as vice chairman of this school board. It is the gentleman from Williston, the gentleman that knows parliamentary procedure better than anyone here, the gentleman who graces us with his wisdom, his wit, and is constantly questioning all the right things. That is my friend, Mr. Brad Etheridge. So I nominate Brad Etheridge to be our vice chair.
Thank you, sir. So, hearing no further nominations, so I'll call for a vote. All those in favor of Mr. Etheridge being vice chair, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, please say nay. And it carries. And at this time, the last thing that I ask of your board is a motion for setting the times of the meetings. Our past practice has been the second and the fourth Tuesday of the month, with the first meeting, the night meeting at 6 o'clock, and then the fourth at 9 a.m.
I make the motion to approve.
Second.
At this time, we'll vote. So all those in favor of continuing with the second and fourth Tuesday, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, please say nay. All right. And at this time, I'll turn over the gavel. So we'll move down. So
We get to carry the chair.
I know my chair was.
No, we've already traded chairs there.
Mr. Delaney, how are you? Been a day or two.
Well, I have to say what an honor it is to be chair. I wasn't at all nervous until Mr. Asbell said that speech, and now I'm a little apprehensive about it.
Might have been why I did it.
Yeah. Well, we've all had the chance to look over the agenda. Are there any changes?
Just one, Madam Chair, and it is on page 3. The bus that is in red, we're going to delete that. Thank you.
Do I have a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion passes. I would like to welcome everyone tonight to our school board meeting. Now's the time for public comments. Seeing
Madam Chair,
one.
I do have one public comment. So it's in your packet that was delivered. So in dealing with redistricting, and the school board and county commission. So that's in your packet. But the other thing I'd like to do, I'd like to point out so that today is a special day. So we're so happy that today we get to celebrate a birthday with the person here right beside us. So it's Miss Hogan's birthday. So and, she does a lot for us behind the scenes. So there's one bouquet for her to keep here and one to take home that she can enjoy there. So,
Well,
but
thank you all. It's just another day older.
And Christine McElroy, you are up. FFA National Convention recognition. Good evening.
So I'm very thrilled to be here to present some students and a teacher who's worked really hard. If you have never been to FFA convention, I strongly recommend that you go, whether it is the state or the national. It will renew your faith in our younger generation. It was amazing. I was privileged to attend, to see our young people represented at the national convention, and it really does. I know Melissa Lewis was able to be there, and we both had that conversation about what a good feeling it is to see the youth represented and how well they represent their communities and what they stand for. And so Bronson was recognized for a National Chapter Award. Mr. Barber, would you like to come up and speak to that? They've done some really great things. Recently, they were in the another competition.
Yes, ma'am.
And they scored second, if I'm not mistaken.
So as far as National Chapter Award, we did represent Levy County and Bronson as a 3-star chapter. What that entails is we fill out our program of activities every year, every FFA chapter does, but we take it a step further. We fill out a 22-page application where we document all 15 of our activities. There's a set of standards, just like in our classrooms, that we have to abide by or follow for every activity based on personal development, leadership growth, and career success, whether that's encouraging communities to get involved in agriculture, encouraging young people to get back to agriculture, leading our members or leading our school towards something better. So we fill that out. We have to place in state. The state judges it, says, this qualifies, goes to nationals. Nationals grades it based on a star system, 1-star, 2-star, 3-star. And we did fall into the 3-star category. So we were as high as you can go for that particular award. However, Florida is really, really, really strong. We had 22 3-star chapters. There were only 3 states that had over 15. Most states were 3 or 4. And I had a teacher message me yesterday, so I started doing all my research. Even states like Texas had 11. Illinois, Georgia, and Florida were the only states with 15 3-star chapters or more. We were one of 22 of those. The other thing that I did want to mention about National Convention recognition is we were 6th place in the nation for our middle school science fair. And unfortunately this year, because of COVID restrictions, they only allowed the top 3 to come. So those kids got to miss out on that opportunity, which was sad. But they chose 6 gold science fair projects, and we were one of those 6. And when they released the final results, we were in that 6th place spot, which is nothing to be down about. My girls were sad that they didn't get to go. One of them wound up getting to go, but she didn't get to get recognized and do her project at the convention. But I do have Cole Wedge and Tara Brown Patterson. I want to call them up here tonight. So these are 2 of my officers this year. They've been officers in the past. They were a integral part, of all of our activities last year. They're representing us here tonight. They didn't get to go to National Convention this year, but they're, striving to go next year. And so they're a big part of my chapter. again, this award falls back to last year. A lot of that falls on Ms. Smith, although she made me do most of the paperwork knowing that it was gonna fall back on me this year. But it takes kids like these to, they're every day with me, and I appreciate them. What the last thing Ms. McElroy was talking about was our preliminaries last week. Bronson did qualify second in vegetable, and we had the high qualifier, Shelby Strickland, which most of you know Shelby. She was the state high qualifier, and we'll compete for that on December 1st down in Haines City. So looking forward to that. We got a pile of more competitions coming up. So Bronson FFA, under new leadership, it's, you kind of expect that fall off, but hopefully we jump right up and keep going. I know that's what, Mr. Gauss expected out of us, and, these kids are ready to take that next step. So.
Did you want to?
Yes, we'd love, hold on, let's get a picture. So, Mr. Asbell, would you come on forward? So, Mr. Asbell, so, any words of wisdom?
Me?
Yes, sir.
There's no wisdom from me.
And I don't think you have anything to worry about with anything falling down. I was at Bronson Middle High School, and Mr. Barber had to take a new industry cert that he's offering in his courses. And it was a 2-hour exam, and he finished in 12 minutes with a 90, so.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Next on the agenda, Williston AVID Showcase. We have JBES, WES, and WMHS presenting. Also known as Ms. Taylor.
Hello. We're having a couple technical difficulties, so I think we're good. Thanks for having us today. I'm Tanya Taylor, your AVID district coordinator, and if it were up to me, I would hijack all school board meetings because of my absolute passion for AVID and the things that it's doing for our students in Levy County. So we chose to just take some of your time to showcase what's happening at our Williston schools, and then we're planning to pop back in throughout this year to show you what's going on at all of our other schools with AVID. So thank you, Morgan. So our agenda for our time is to talk about our mission and what our AVID goal is for the district, so you can be familiar with what we're doing in all of our schools. We'll go through a little overview of what AVID looks like in Williston, and then we'll have our schools come up to give their individual presentations and allow some time for you guys to ask questions to the teachers and students that are here with us. So if you're not familiar with AVID's mission, it is to close the opportunity gap by preparing all students for college and career readiness and success in a global society. And what I love about AVID's mission is it directly correlates to what our mission is here in Levy County and what all of our school missions are. And it's been really neat to work with Chrissy McElroy, our new CTE coordinator, in aligning both college and CTE together so that we're working in partnership to prepare our students. So just an overview, as Williston's related, our focus really is on creating this one town, one mission feel so that we have a horizontal and vertical articulation where we can support the kids as they grow, beginning at Joyce, Bullock, and end at Williston Middle High, and really prepare them for that college and career readiness without, doing the work at Joyce Bullock to build the foundation and then supporting that at Williston Elementary and then really sustaining that at Williston Middle High. We also work closely at Williston Middle High with Williston L to recruit those AVID elective students going into 5th grade and really creating that partnership amongst all of us to scaffold what the AVID strategies are at the elementary level and then grow and adapt them as they reach the secondary level. I know that Williston Middle High is working with Williston L to go over and do student presentations and work with those students on kind of starting the recruitment process to get students interested in the AVID elective. And just so that we're clear on the difference between AVID school-wide versus AVID elective, AVID is a school-wide approach, and all of our schools are implementing strategies school-wide to affect all of our students in Levy County. And then at the secondary level, we have a focus on AVID elective students who tend to be first-generation college students, so that we can be that support in getting them accepted to the college of their choice or the career of their choice. So just to share with you what our district AVID goals are, we're focused on domain 3. There's 4 domains of AVID, and one of those is systems. Our goal this year, or my goal this year, is that 100% of our Levy schools' AVID cycles are directly correlated to their school improvement plan and act as the accelerator to reaching the school goals and student achievement. It is a huge goal of mine to ensure that AVID doesn't feel like another thing, but is the accelerator to support them in what they're already doing, so that we can have those best teaching practices that are mentioned in our Danielson rubric and really support our new teachers in feeling good about the learning. And then our second goal is domain 1, that's in instruction. And it is my goal to support our admin team and our AVID site teams in increasing teachers' understanding of their school improvement plan and how AVID can be used as that accelerator to reach the goals for student engagement using AVID strategies. I've been working really hard to provide professional development, coaching, modeling, and support to site teams and teachers to use those strategies in the classroom. And I've been on a thank you tour to our coordinators here at the district, because we are working really closely with Heather Rollins, Michelle Ruiz, and Christy McElroy to identify opportunities to use these high engagement AVID strategies as it relates to all the specific curriculum, again, to accelerate what's happening at our schools for our students. So without further ado, I would love to introduce Joyce Bullock Elementary. Their AVID site coordinator is Kelsey List. And I am going to let you guys take them. Thank you, Mrs. Rhodes, for being here. Welcome.
I'm Hillary Crooks. I'm the principal at Joyce Bullock. And then I also have, I don't know if they're going to come up or not, but Ashley Hart is our reading coach. And then Amy Weber, our assistant principal. And then you two are definitely coming up. Kelsey List is our AVID site coordinator, and then Miss Violet's going to be sharing with us here in just a second about what AVID means to her. This is our goal. I'm so sorry. Our goal this year is to work on implementing those strategies that Tanya was talking about. We're continuing in our goal setting that we worked on last year, along with some organizational tools to help keep our students focused and so that they can meet those goals in the classroom. And this all is supporting our school improvement goal, because we want to see students increase in achievement and their growth this year. And then we hope to also reduce the number of retentions that we have on our campus as a result. So that's our goal in a nutshell. Can we play the video first? This is AVID at JBS in a snapshot. If not, I can go ahead and have Violet share if you want to. You got it? Okay.
No, that's ours.
That's Wilson Elementary.
Theirs is in the notification.
Ashley Hart, our reading coach, put together this video, so get your tissues ready. A lot of our kiddos and teachers are on it.
Hey everybody, I am Mrs. Hart. I'm the main chair of School Elementary. I'm here today to talk to you about AVID, and we're going to go see all the goodness going on with AVID implementation here at JP. Let's go see what's going on. I'm Miss List, and I'm the AVID coordinator here at JPT. And what AVID is to us in our classroom is moving up through their own hard work and being organized in the classroom and how it helps support them in their learning, and also making sure that they are preparing for their futures and what they want to be when they grow up.
This is my first job, it's here at school. I
I work real hard, 'cause that's the rule. And when I'm done, I'll graduate. For my next job, I will be great. Good, better, best. Never let it rest till your good is better and your better is best. My black folder helps to stay organized, and it's her stuff that I haven't finished, and then I need to get it finished. Chicken wing, I don't get the line. Everything makes me feel super organized. My other goal is to get 100 words or words in. My other goal is to get A+ on everything on mathematics. My other goal is to get an A+ on my test. What do you want to be? A baker. Wow. Why do you want to be a baker? What is so important though about how you get to make those cakes and treats for people on special occasions? And you can do it with celebrations, with birthdays. That's awesome. Okay, so part of our AVID journey here at Joyce Bullock is learning all about Wicker. Wicker stands for Writing, Inquiry, Collaboration, Organization, and Reading. So the teachers are learning about a bunch of different strategies that fall under Wicker, and we're learning how to put them in our lesson plans to make learning engaging for our students. We haven't quite got all the pieces yet, but you'll see a lot of pieces of Wicker here at JBE.
And time to carousel. You are going to rotate to the next simile. Go ahead and rotate. Rotate to the next simile.
Hey, class, students don't come forward too much. Make a little run, then go to the next. Then go toward the door. Then the class is cotton candy.
Okay, so I want you to write the words cloud versus cotton candy, okay?
I hope that you enjoyed seeing all the AVID strategies we're using here at JBE. We'll see you soon.
So that's just a little snapshot of what's going on campus-wide. But we brought Violet Young, one of our second graders, who's in this list in this NEATS class, and you saw a little snippet of her. If you couldn't tell what she was doing, that was sharing on our ancient announcements in the morning. But my gosh, it's so much fun. The kids think it's the coolest thing to come stand up in front of that big old, what looks like to us an antique box, to share with students. So that's happened a couple times, and Violet was our very first student who shared on the morning announcement. So she's just going to share a little bit tonight about what AVID means to her. Right there.
My name is Violet Young, and I am 7 years old in second grade at Joyce Bullock Elementary School. First off, at our school, AVID means moving up through your own hard work. This means that you have to try hard and never give up when something gets hard. At my school, we write out our goals and work to accomplish them throughout the year. We also carry AVID binders. They hold all of our stuff and keep us organized. In my binder, you will find things I am currently working on in my classes with my teachers. They help us keep our work organized and all in one place. I believe that my binder will help me prepare to be organized as I get older and school gets harder. Also, our teachers have been working hard to teach us AVID strategies to help us learn better and have fun. We've done multi-partner talks, carousel, note-taking, and marking tests. My favorite is marking the text. I love this strategy because I get to use my favorite violet or purple highlighter. This makes it easy to find important information when I'm reading. Lastly, at JDE, we have College and Career Thursdays. On Thursdays, we wear our favorite college shirts and can dress up what we want to be when we grow up. When I grow up, I want to be in baking. First, I plan on going to college to learn about baking. While I'm doing this, I will work at Redistricting to begin baking and earning money. When I get better, I'll go on to work at Dunkin' Donuts. Eventually, I'll save up enough money to open my own bakery. I will call Bobo's Bakery after the name of my son. But for now, I will keep on cooking at home with my dad, working hard in school to get into my dream college, the University of Florida. Go Gators!
Just real quick, Morgan, if you could click on the link in the next, just real quick, this is, well, you might, it's okay. We can kind of give you an overview if we need to. So this summer we got together in our DXP days and through some planning days that we had with Ms. Taylor at our school, and we came up with what we would consider a roadmap for ourselves, something that's going to keep us accountable for implementing these strategies and getting where we want to be. So we created a spreadsheet that just has it by month what our focus is. It's divided into Wicker, what we're doing with Wicker, what we're doing with college and career, what we're doing with goal setting, that sort of thing. And like today, I don't know if you want to share what the faculty meeting looked like. That's kind of one of our monthly snapshots.
So we're focusing a lot on partner talk and collaboration and having the students talk to one another and learn from one another. And we have a monthly focus on how to help students do that in the classroom. And coming up, we are learning about quiz trade or give one, get one, which is a way to learn from their peers. So today at our faculty meeting, I had our staff do a give one, get one strategy while getting them to discuss the previous month's focus strategy, which was carousel. So the students were going around and they were giving ideas of how they did a carousel in their classroom to other teachers while sharing all the different ways and what they've been loving and what they've been doing in the classroom. And so that implementation plan really just keeps us focused each month on what we want to share with our staff and how it'll help our students. And it's ultimately helping us to reach our goal, which our AVID cycle. And I'm not sure if this is a good time to cut it or not, but I was going to cry during Violet's speech, but I really just want to express the joy that our staff is just, and how much we just are loving AVID. And as Tanya said, she said that she doesn't want it to be one more thing, and it's not. It's things that our teachers are already doing in the classroom. So it's kind of just like a pat on the back, like, oh my, look, you're already doing it.
But here's another way.
But here's another way, or here's
your
here's how you can use it. Mm-hmm. And our students, I mean, Violet's in second grade, and she wrote that, and she just, I mean, that's a second grader, and she's not the only one that is just, you know, I mean, these kids are hitting the ground running with these things, and the teachers are loving it, and we can't be thankful enough for Tanya to help us give that to our kids.
What she said.
Thank you.
site coordinator Priscilla couldn't be here, but Dr. Hancock, that is.
Okay. I have to correct Ms. Cooks just a little bit. It's not Ms. Hart. Did I say Ms. Hart? Sorry.
It's Dr. Hart
Dr.
now.
Hart as of yesterday. I am Emily Hancock. I'm the principal at Williston Elementary, and this is Richardson. You guys have heard from us before with our AVID presentation. We've done it a couple of times, a couple of different angles. But one thing we just kind of wanted to hit on is the consistency that's happening in our elementary school. We're seeing binders are standard. The kids know how to use them. They come in from second grade using them. They come in and they know how to organize themselves. They're much more organized. We don't hear, dog ate my homework anymore, or I can't find my paper. These kids know how to keep themselves organized, and hopefully we're sending them to, the middle high school with those organization skills. The other thing that we see is consistency across campus with the vocabulary that the students and the teachers are using. They are all using the same language, all using the callbacks, and Mr. Cowart can kind of attest, he came to do dictionaries with 150 third graders, and they get a little chatty, as the people are passing things out and whatnot, and we can use different callbacks, and immediately you have 150 third graders who are focused right back on you, ready for you to present. So it's great teaching strategies, great classroom management strategies that we're implementing in the classroom. So Ms. Richardson, she got a voluntold to practice a new leadership skill, and she learned how to make a video very quickly over the past week or so. So I'll let her introduce the video.
I'm Ubi, thank you very much. One thing I would like to say is that one of the things, we were both at Williston before it was an AVID school, and then we were there during implementation, and to see the shift in our kids, they really take ownership of their education now, and that's what I really love about AVID is it teaches them the independence of their own education, which is huge for us. And also, we want to show our kids that they have a future regardless of their background, regardless of their families. And so we push career and college with our kids, and I feel like it's really helped them show that they have a future, and even at our age, for them just to start thinking about it. One of our hard things when we first started implementing AVID was, what is it going to look like? Like at the elementary school level, we've heard about it at the high school, but what is it going to look like at our level? And so this is literally, she said, make a movie. I walked around the classrooms. I didn't tell teachers I was coming. And when I just matched what they were doing in their classroom to one of our letters in Wicker, and you just see AVID across our campus in every classroom. You see it in our billboards, you see it in our signs. This is when you walk into our office, you can go ahead and play it. I don't have cool music like Dr. Hartman.
We also have a lot of new teachers on campus this year. And so one of the things that you always look for is that consistency of helping new teachers kind of adapt to the culture of the school. And this is an easy way to embed good teaching practices.
There's some of their AVID goals they have posted in the cafeteria.
AVID! The individual determination moving up through my own hard work. Wicker! Right. Simply asking questions. I'm a secret J. Right? So let's just put some hard explain why.
They're using Costa's level of questioning, which is hard for an adult, and they were knocking it out of the park.
Wow. Okay, so you're asking your readers to make a hypothesis. What do you want them to go back and screen a hypothesis?
And this is our community classroom, so there's a lot of non-English speakers in this classroom.
What about this gun? Level 8. Predict what you think is going to happen next. The second one is level 2, and 4 is first why the boy wants to send Cracker to the bank now. So you on Saturday and more wonderful memories. Well, setting the character ever imagine, correct? Yeah. So, the golden mountain might be the conflict, but what information do you have for conflict?
I didn't tell him to say that. They really have bought into AVID at our school.
Organization. This computer helps me stay organized because I know everything ends. Pencil pouch helps me keep all my pencils, and this helps me know what I'm going to be doing for the day. This helps me know my reading log to know how long I've been reading for. The weekly folder shows what I have to give to my parents or what I keep at home. This helps me do my homework and what I want to turn in. This helps me keep my notes for science, for math, and for, and then I also write sheet papers because I need to work out any problems. I have it because it helps learning more engaging, and some AVID strategies I like is carousel walks, swimming talks, and rapid organizing.
So that's just a snapshot of a day. That was literally one day at our school that I just walked around and went into each classroom. So AVID strategies are happening in all of our classrooms, and that was our AVID goal, was that 100% of our classroom teachers were implementing AVID strategies throughout their day, and they really are, and the kids are really buying into it.
We're implementing this in our professional development time, our faculty meetings that we have. It's neat to see something that's implemented on Monday. Literally, I saw implemented today. A quick write was implemented today because they had just used it, so it's a constant reminder of the best practices.
Last but not least, Wilson Mohai, our site coordinator, Stephanie Whitehurst from the city. Thank you guys.
Hi, good evening, board. I'm Mr. Cower. It's nice to be here tonight. I'm excited to put some faces with some names. I'm Gina Dickey. I'm the new assistant principal at Williston Middle High School. And I have Stephanie with me, and I have Brooks. Brooks, come on up. Brooks is one of our AVID students, and we did ask him to be here with us tonight because our goal is, okay, thank you. I wanted to make sure I said it exactly right. 100% of our classrooms will increase rigor for inquiry and higher order thinking, utilizing the focused note-taking process. And so that is what we're focusing on school-wide, that every student in our school, every teacher in our school is using the process of focused note-taking. We began the year with asking our teachers to use the Cornell Notes template because that template lends itself to the process. But as we've learned the process and we've gotten more comfortable with it, we have allowed folks to use whatever they need to use. So like in our intensive reading classes, we use close reading strategies, and close reading strategies lends itself to the 5 steps of the focus note process. Let's see, I'm trying to think another, math. We have, believe it or not, in Algebra 1 geometry, they're using focus note-taking process where they're working with the teachers giving the notes and lecturing, but then the students go back and they highlight things that they didn't understand, things that they still have questions about. Then they use the notes to do some sort of project and things like that. So again, our focus is the process and not necessarily what template you use to take the notes. So when I came on board, I had the opportunity to work with Tanya and sit down and create a roadmap for professional development and what that was going to look like throughout the school year. And so 6 times, 3 each semester, we have what we call WOW nights, which is working on the work. And during our WOW nights, we've been focusing on implementing our goals school-wide and giving the teachers the professional development and the support that they need in order to be successful in their classrooms. So in return, that their students are successful with the process and engaging activities. And we have a WOW night coming up next Wednesday. We would love to have you guys. You're welcome to stop by Williston Middle High School next Wednesday night and see it in action. We started out with a roadmap where we were going to be jumping into Costa's levels of thinking and philosophical chairs and how to actually move from focus note taking and using that in step 5, which is actually using your notes to do something with. And through tickets out the door, what we call a ticket out the door, we call that a formative assessment, and we found that our teachers weren't quite ready to necessarily move to that stage yet. And so this Wednesday, we're going to do our last focus note training, and our teachers are bringing notes with them, and then they're going to work as a team and talk about, if I were to give these notes in my classroom, how would I use all 5 steps in the process across, or throughout the week. So we're excited about that, and we're having lasagna, so come on. We'll feed you. If we ask our teachers to stay there until 6 o'clock at night, we feed them for sure. So we're excited about what's happening, and I'm going to stop talking because I feel like I've become long-winded, and I'm going to let Stephanie talk about what focus note taking looks like across our school and across curriculum.
Hi. Thank you so much for supporting all of us by providing Tanya to come into our schools. We're very blessed to have her just on campus all the time. It's an amazing resource. But what I thought, or what we thought would be a great idea, is to go around and touch base with all the teachers. And so what I did was collect direct quotes, kind of like a reporter. And this one is from our 6th grade language arts teacher, Ms. Tickemeyer. She's brand new to our district, so AVID was brand new to her. What I really enjoyed out of all of her quote was really that it was all about connections. And being a reading teacher as well, I love how kids are able to make that connection with the text. And so when they're making that connection with the content that they're learning, it really pushes them even further to keep that in their brain and use it in practical life. And so that's really what the focus note taking process is. Not to put Brooks on the spot, but do you know the 5 days of scripture? I do. But they are to take notes, right? And then you connect with the notes, you process them, and you connect them. So what that means is I tell my AVID students, because I teach 6th, 7th, and 8th grade AVID, that every night for about 5 minutes, they should just look over their notes. And so they are really connecting with it. So they take the notes, they process the notes, then they connect with them, maybe bring some more ideas from outside world or outside connections. And then they add to their notes. And then the 4th one, they make questions. And then the 5th one is they summarize. And that is the best part about it, is that they are summarizing their learning. And in AVID, they keep those notes in their binder. And so they're used for midterms and exams and stuff like that. So if we could go to the next slide. This is on the high school side. She is our 9th and 10th grade intensive reading teacher. And what's really great about the way that our teachers have used the focus note-taking process is that everybody has their own little flair to it. And so she uses it in a way where it's all week. So they go back and touch the notes all week long. And so on Monday, she introduces the vocabulary. On Tuesdays, they go through and highlight all of the things that go along with the words. So they're going back and touching it again. And that's all you want, is to go back and touch that content over and over and over again until it becomes embedded in their brain. So lots and lots of repetition. And I don't know if you've ever stepped into an intensive reading classroom, but those are not the students that are super excited to be in a classroom. And so, but with AVID, I have seen, because I also teach intensive reading in the afternoon, bringing some of those strategies in with those students, and they become excited and engaged when they feel successful. And that is what's super important for a student to feel in order to be successful in life. And so by bringing these strategies into all of the classrooms, they become successful individuals. So, all right, this is our middle school intensive reading teacher. She actually is right next door to me. With intensive reading, we use a workbook that we work through. And so they don't actually take notes on pieces of paper. So it actually supports them in the sense that they have what they need in their hands and they don't feel like they have to come up with everything. And what she does is she uses the sticky notes to add to the notebooks, and they become connected with their learning in the workbook, even though they didn't actually take those notes. So that is Miss Nagel. And then And then this is our 8th grade science teacher. She is a rock star when it comes to interactive notebooks. And what's great is you've seen so many different types. I know we don't have pictures for all of them, but they've all taken their own flair on it. And so her students come in and they take Cornell notes. I don't know if you're familiar with that format, but they usually draw a line on the left side and they write the essential question at the top, and then they take their notes on the right-hand side. And so they take those notes and then they chunk them, and then they come back the next day and use them again, which is again getting them to do that repetition, which embeds the knowledge. Go to the next slide, please. All right, and then even in PE, they are taking focus notes. What's fun is they are excited. She was sitting next to me at my little boy's flag football game, and she's like, "Oh my gosh, they were taking focus notes in PE about bicycle safety." And so, so even in a classroom where you wouldn't normally see a lot of note taking, they are using it there. You can hit the slide.
It really is a school-wide process.
Okay. Miss Palladino is our world history teacher on the high school side. She was going to actually speak to y'all directly today. This is Wicker, it's a little longer. But she is a rock star when it comes to going through the entire process and getting kids excited about learning about world history. And I will have Miss Taylor share her notes with you, but she's provided all of these photos of their work. And so what they're doing on the right-hand side is those are their notes, and they're applying them into create a timeline, which is really just awesome. Just brings so much better than what you would think of learning about history is just taking notes and listening to a lecture. If you hit the slide. And then this is it starts as notes, and then she turned it into, they took that further and made an essay. So, and she talks about that in her little blurb. So that is Miss Palladino. She's a second-year teacher, I believe. This is her second year on campus, but I'm pretty sure it's her second year ever. And so she has been paired with another teacher that's a veteran. I don't know if you're familiar with Miss Cruz, but she has really reinforced those skills of note-taking, and it's really, she said in her quote how it's really affected the students in a positive way. Slide, please. And then Mr. Yancy. I will say that, to brag on him, I asked for volunteers to come in and speak about the focus note-taking process, and he was very eager to support his sweet teacher and speak in front of you all today. So he's a wonderful student, very responsible, very self-motivated, and determined to be successful. So I'm going to give you the floor, sir.
Hello, my name is Brooks Yancy. I'm an AVID student at Williston Middle High School. Today I'll be talking about how AVID helps me in all of my classes. AVID helps me monitor my progress throughout the school year and helps me work efficiently towards my goal of going to college. For example, in Ms. Lindsay's math class, we take Cornell notes to help us perform better. If we find ourselves struggling, we look back at our notes and remind ourselves how to solve a problem. AVID is a great tool and one that will help me accomplish my future goal of attending the University of Florida and earning a degree. Thank you.
So I would like to brag on Brooks for just a second. I have had the opportunity to actually nominate Brooks as an AVID Good News student. Is that how, am I using the right terminology? Okay. I like to try to do that when I go into classrooms and I see students doing something special that are in one of our AVID elective classes. And I was in Ms. Tickenmeyer's science class. We have 3 Tickenmeyers at our school. Ms. Tickenmeyer's science class. And she was lecturing, and Brooks was over there with his interactive notebook, and Brooks is pulling out sticky notes and writing on them, and then moving them and putting them in different places all the way. And I'm like, whoa, what are you doing? And then he's like, I'm making notes on my stickies. And then he actually, there was a question, and he looked at his friend, and he pulled out a sticky, it's the answer, kind of thing. And I'm like, I mean, he was really engaged and participating and using the notes to just expand his knowledge and support his learning in science. And he just talked about doing it as math, and we've heard about it in reading and world history, so you can see in PE. So you can see it as something, again, that we really take seriously at Wilson Middle High School, and we're excited about it. The great thing is when you go into a high school and middle school, secondary classrooms, a lot of times you see lecturing. I mean, that's, just a common particular pedagogy that our teachers use, and they've been able to take that to the next step and actually have the students learn an engagement process and use that information to be successful. Thank you. Thank you for allowing us to do it.
Yes, Brooks has a gift for you people.
So just to wrap things up, I want to thank you guys for supporting us and thank all of our schools and everyone for being here today and all of the amazing things you're doing. I could tear up every time I see you guys and come to your classroom, but thank you for everyone. For all the stars. And yeah, if we could do a photo, that would be great. We all want to.
Photo Wilson.
While we got you guys real quick, so I just want to say kudos to you guys. So Miss List, so one of the great things that I saw is the smiles on you guys and your staff and when you're working with them in AVID. So, and I think that's really a big thing. So thank you very, very much. And Miss Violet, thank you very, very much for presenting to us tonight.
Good job.
Good job.
Yeah, okay. We'll do a photo. So Brad?
Yeah.
Kiddos that need to go to bed.
Over there.
I see that. They did good. They did good. I think you should. I think Mr. Etheridge should loan Violet the money to start her bakery in Louisville.
I feel love.
I totally agree. Yes, you do.
Madam Chair, members of the board, Superintendent Coward, I'm John Gilreath with DRMP here to talk to you about your board redistricting tonight. A couple of housekeeping items. First off, happy birthday. Thank you. And congratulations, Madam Chair.
Thank you.
It's always, the happiest person in the room is always the outgoing chair. Congratulations on.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
So PowerPoint's going to be run from the back tonight, but I wanted to start off just by saying this is the second reading that we're having. We were here about a month ago showing you the different options that we come up with. Since then, we published an interactive map on your website for citizens and elected officials to come in and see exactly the changes proposed changes to the districts. And I have a condensed PowerPoint tonight, similar to what we talked about earlier, but just to run through the different options, remind you of the timeline, and just tell you how we came to these conclusions. So your staff has been amazing to work with. I thank them for their hard work. And we're getting close to the finish line here. We have members of county staff as well as the Office of Elections here if there's any additional questions. But with that, we can move to the next slide, please. So this is something that is usually done as a best practice every 10 years when the new U.S. Census data comes in, and we received a redistricting summary which has total population and demographics in August, and we would have expected to see additional information come along with that from the U.S. Census. It's not required for redistricting, but it is something that we expected to see earlier, but because of COVID, there was a lawsuit with the census count. It has been delayed. It's even been delayed now into the new year is what we're hearing. But really to do and perform a redistricting for a school board or a county, we're doing this on total population per state statute. It's looking at it as equal of a population as you can between the districts. Next slide, please. So the census data is a snapshot of our community. It's available in a lot of different formats. And I just wanted to walk you through, we use the blocks, which is the smallest area available. You move up to block groups and census tracts, which are larger areas, subdivisions, areas of the county. But we use the blocks to really look at the total population and try to refine these boundaries. Next slide, please. Again, I mentioned coordination with the county, with you all board members, and with the Office of Elections. And really, the school board's timeline rules this process because you have to have this completed in an odd number year. We cannot go into an even number year per Florida state statute. So because we got the data so late, this has been a whirlwind of public meetings. We've held 5 public workshops. We've also presented to you on the first reading, as well as the Board of County Commissioners. We're going to be presenting to them next week for their second reading. And the overall goals are to review and analyze the population changes throughout the county. We're going to consider citizens' input through our public meetings and through any public comment at workshops, as well as your comments. And really the goal is to have compact and contiguous districts that are community focused. So we don't want to split neighborhoods. We want to use things like major roads, rivers, large tracts of land to really use those delineations. We don't want to be compact. We don't want, if everybody's heard the word gerrymandering, you see districts that go over long areas. We're not looking to have districts like that. I mean, they need to be contiguous as well, so they're not split up into different parts. It's one district and one polygon. Next slide, please. So specifically, we're going to use that census data at the block group and the census tract level. We've had 5 public workshops, the last of which we concluded last night in the county headquarters in Bronson. We have presentations to you all per your rulemaking process. And again, we're going to create those compact contiguous districts. We had to provide 4 options per the county's request. So this is in concert with the county. And really what we're looking to do is ease confusion for the voters. Make sure that they know they're always in the district with the board member and with the county commissioner. Right now you have some numbers that are different, 2 and 4, 1 and 5 will shift. That doesn't affect areas or election years. And it is there's a small shift right now in the northwestern part of the county that is minimal, but the changes we're going to make really address that. One of the requests we got was to ensure that every municipality, right, every city in the county is in one district. Right now, Chiefland and Fanning Springs are split between districts. And so we use municipal boundaries, we use things like roads, we use things like the river, and we use things like neighborhoods to make sure we were creating those community-focused districts. We're going to combine the comments that we get throughout this process and provide a final recommendation at your final reading in December, hopefully for an adoption of that ordinance and the new districts to have it done in this calendar year for the school board. It's okay, we can go to it. So just a quick snapshot, you've had an increase of about 2,000 people in the county. This is a slide that you saw in our last presentation. The largest gains, make sense around the areas of Williston, southeastern unincorporated county, and south of Chiefland have been the largest gains over the last 10 years. Next slide, please. When it comes down to the districts, now these are the county numbers that are shown. So really, the 2 is your 4, the 4 is your 2, and the 1 and the 5 are flipped as well. But if you look at the county commission districts, the biggest changes have been around, obviously, your cities, Williston and Bronson, and then in 3. And I attribute that to coming in from Marion County, Citrus County. So
John, I apologize. I need a 5-minute break.
districts 1 and 5, 3 and 5 will, along with 2 and 4 will flip. I'm sorry about that. And you were getting the full presentation before, now we're to the abbreviated one. I can run through any of them if you want, but we'll stay on this small one. So again, you have the increase throughout the county. If we could go to the next, we'll jump into the next option. So we have 4 options that we've come up with. So far, the most favorable that we've heard in comments from the public and elected officials is option A. This is the option that is closest to the current districts now. You can see current districts for the county overlain in the blue, thick blue line. And then in option A, you have your different districts that would then fill in some of those areas. So some highlights here. Your District 2, but here District 4 in green, and District 3 are now split in option A, US 19, keeping English, and Steenahatchee still in District 3, but expanding.
Yankee Town.
So I'm sorry, Yankee Town. It's been a long day. I love
That's a heck of a move.
I love all my towns. I've done that before. I'm sorry.
Mississippi State.
I know. I just usually drive right into Cedar Key. I ignore. So I think in this option, talking about the municipalities, City of Chiefland is in County District 2, your 4. Fanning Springs is completely, that split's gone for Chiefland and Fanning Springs. Fanning Springs is in County District 4, School Board District 2. This is the smallest range, right? We're shooting for a 10% variance, right? So we don't want anything about larger than 800 between the largest and the lowest. You can see this one's pretty close within about 100 and 160. Moving into the next option, this is everybody's favorite condiment, right? A1, I don't want to call it like option E. It's really it's option A, but you see these red circles. So this was a comment we got in the Williston public meeting. You haven't seen this one in our last presentation, but this is a result of public input during the process, where there are portions of 5 and 1 that revert back to their regular areas, right? If you look at, you go back to option A quickly and look in those areas with the red circle, you can see how District 5 would push west into District 1, the county's District 1, and then District 3 from the south would push up along almost to the Williston boundary. If you go back to A1, those red circles illustrate those go back, right? So we're trying to keep that even population, but you can see just making that change, what that did to District 1, vaults that into the top versus option A. It's still acceptable, but that range is a little bit getting close to 10%. But this is part of the public comment saying, well, some of these folks may identify more with Williston, and if you move a line in one area, you have to move a line somewhere else, right? We're trying to balance that total population, the guiding criteria. So moving to option B. As we move through, these get a little bit more dramatic. The variance increases a little bit. You can see probably the largest shift here is District 2 expands all the way east to State Road 24. And you know, I can read body language pretty well. As we move through B, C, and D, I can tell you that some of you will dislike those even more. That's okay. We could draw these 20 different ways, right? Every time I could come up and have a little bit of a tweak, or we could do something completely different. But we're still trying to get is that 10% variance for an approximate population. You have lots of wide swaths of timberland, wetlands, state forests that don't have people that reported for the census. So when you see District 4 in the county, your District 2 expanding east A lot of that area doesn't have people reported. If you look back at the total population map that you have in your handout, you'll see some of those gray areas. Nobody reported for the census in a lot of those areas. Looking at Chiefland, looking at Chiefland in this option, it stays in your District 4, Fanning Springs is in District 2, right? Those are the two that are split. And we continue to make sure we're following those municipal boundaries. Option C. This one has your District 2 in green expanding east all the way to the South Bronson border. Chiefland in this option is in your District 2, County's District 4. Fanning Springs flips into your District 4, County District 2. And you see the variance is up around 320 now, right? So it's creeping up with the exception of option A1. And then option D, please. This is the one that I've heard probably the most pushback on, primarily because District 3 doesn't have a school. So that was something that we heard from feedback from you all and from folks that we wanted a school in each of the districts, and that makes sense. Option D really came about because of the population growth that's coming in. We're also looking at building permits, right? And then looking at development in the county. We want to make sure that over the next 10 years, and I hate to tell you, but the secret is out about your county. It's a great place to be. It's in a great location, and you can see the development and the building permits coming in from centers from Marion County in the southeastern portion. The population growth is coming in from that way, and it's coming down Archer Road. And you're seeing that reflected in the totals on the districts. What we don't want to do is have one of the districts be out of whack. And so, for example, Alachua County School Board hadn't done redistricting in 20 years, and they had a disparity in two of their districts of 20,000 because of the population growth in those areas. So that's something that we're trying to avoid. We know where development's coming in. We're trying to keep District 3, keep those down, the numbers down, keep them approximate, and try to account for some of that development that's coming in. But, you know, this one is probably the least palatable to people that I've heard again and again and again. Next slide, please. So, you know, the steps, we have to follow your rulemaking process. Number one, we're gathering input from the public, as well as our elected officials. We've had the first reading. Right now, we're at step 3 in the second reading, right? And we're moving into mid-December for a final reading and a hopeful adoption of one of these options for both the county and the school board. Next slide, please. And this is just a list of the public workshops. You can see we completed them all. The last one was last night in Bronson. We've had decent attendance at them. We've had some good comments, and we've brought those comments in. We've answered any questions that have come about. There's been questions posed to the Office of Elections, to the county that we've responded back to, and we've incorporated some of that input as well. And I think tonight, what we are hoping to do, and we can bring up the interactive map that we put on the county's website for citizens to see, please. And this is something that anybody can go into, click the link in blue, and this is an interactive map that we're hosting for you all and for the county. There's always a splash page, right? Acknowledge that you're going to use this information for your purposes. But each of the options as we cycle through and match what you've seen. We don't have A1 in here yet. If that's something that we're directed to do, we can put that in. But a citizen can put their full address in the top left, and it'll zoom right to their home, and they can see the different options. They can also see their current districts. You can change and look at a satellite image and do things like that. But this is really for the people who can't make it tonight, for the people who want to do more research, for the people who want to be part of this process. There's also a interactive form on the school board site to submit comments. And so tonight, you know, I don't want to belabor the points, but really what we're looking to do is hit that December deadline and make sure we have this done in an odd number of years so we don't wait until 2023. We're taking advantage of getting this census data in, of presenting these public workshops to everybody, And, you know, I can make a recommendation to you all to evaluate and identify a chosen option tonight so we can move forward in December, because what we have to do is then draft a legal description of the districts. We also have public advertising that to do after adoption. But to be ready for mid-December to come back with a preferred option for the board, we need to have that legal description ready by mid-December. So with that, I'll stop. I'm here to answer questions, concerns, comments.
Okay, so I can't move forward knowing that we have all the comments about the change in the districts and the numbers and getting in line with county commissioners. And I do think that's critical. And we have had a lot of comments. I've had a lot of emails about that. So, Mr. Superintendent, are we going to bring that up to look at that first before we do any recommendations?
First was to pick an option that we like, and then we would discuss. So,
But would that change if we change numbers?
it doesn't change the drawing, so.
No one changed the drawings, but if we change numbers, I mean,
So seeing that Miss Tammy's here, so, is that your preference, Ms. Brookins, that you'd like to discuss that first?
I would,
Okay.
yes.
All right. So,
Because I do feel like, with my school district and Chiefland and where the things are, yes, I want to vote on, the district that I'm going to be in and the number and how it's on the map.
okay. The only thing, so, and in light of what has happened tonight and not having now our full board, that I was going to ask to table that until our December meeting on the changing the numbers. So, and it doesn't really change the options. So, if you go through the options, option A is your red area. So is the district that you currently represent. So, and it encompasses taking all of Chiefland municipality and putting it in the district that you serve. A1 does the same thing, the only difference being the two circled areas that takes area away from Mr. Etheridge and puts it back into Mr. Asbell's, and then it takes a little bit of area away from, Ms. Clemency, and puts it there.
I like both option A and option 1. Not one more than the other, if that makes any sense. I said it before. District 1, I'm virtually the same, District 1, and even whoever takes over after I'm long retired or diselected, whatever happens to me. But option A or option A1, I like those maps more about the other districts than option 1.
Can you, Ms. Brookins, so I understand a little bit better, can you share a little bit more on why you want to discuss the numbers first?
Because City of Chiefland, which I represent, and it says on the A1, which I like, and I agree with Cameron, what he said, then that would be District 2. I am currently District 4.
No, that's, so those are the county numbers. So that's the kicker there. If you look at these numbers here, these are the county commission districts, so.
Oh, okay, then I'm lost. Okay, I understand now.
Yeah, I had to write down our numbers.
Oh, okay, so we'll read, okay,
Yes,
that's what I need to do.
There we go.
Exactly, relabel.
This may be the only time it's ever paid off to be colorblind.
There you go. Okay, that's what I couldn't.
It's all your hard
vote on.
work.
So if we go
Pointless for
through,
me,
if
my
you just
brother.
flip flop 4 and 2, that is yours there. So you are the red portion right there.
Right, when you said that, it really threw me off too on that. Okay, I get it. So we are going on the county commissioner numbers,
Yes.
right?
That's
So that is more reason and the confusion and the letters that we get, that everybody else is confused too. So No, I want to vote on our changing, and I want to look at that too, because I want to vote on what I'm going to be. And I understand your point, Mr. Superintendent, with, unfortunate circumstances, and I know that, I know she would want to, vote and change too. But, so that's going to be a board decision and have to, go ahead.
Offer a little input. It's really important that we get the map drawn. I think what we just experienced last year in terms of where the blocks are, how the lines are drawn, that needs to get done this year. That's really important. That's point number one. Point number two, what we just experienced last year in the last 45 seconds is a good argument for why it would make sense to align our numbers with the county.
That's right. I
Makes
agree.
it lots easier on voters, on people who want to run and everything like that. I think what I'm hearing from the superintendent is if we can do the next step in the process tonight about how the map is drawn, we can take up the numbering issue at our next meeting and still stay on track for getting this done this year.
And I'm all for getting it done this year.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
It's going to be done this year.
Yeah.
So, Ms. Jones, so.
So my only concern would be if the school board was not in favor of it, I would want to approach the county commission to see if they would do it. I feel like there's probably consensus to do it, but I don't want to wait till the last minute and then, that's my only thing.
I understand. So,
I'm sympathetic to the situation here.
But
there's been the one thing about the past 2 years to us, there's always something. We have a quorum. I don't want to cut her out, but Cameron Asbill, me personally, I'm prepared to vote on both things tonight. But once again, I'm the only person here that renumbering doesn't affect, it doesn't, and the maps pretty well however it goes. So, but I'm prepared to vote tonight only because this is very important and we have to coordinate with another entity. If it was strictly our decision, we didn't have to talk to anybody else and push it to the last minute. But whatever we decide has to coordinate with that. And, that's how I feel.
So risk reward, if I can just, 10 years from now, if we align with the numbers and the school board being so willing to take on that responsibility, not the county commissioners, basically one election cycle with your signage that's been done is basically the issue that hand. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
Right. So Ms. Brookins, if we have a number change on your election year, that district
In
would.
2024, yes, sir.
2024.
That's not going to disturb me one bit.
Okay, so I'm risk reward. What I'm saying is in the scenario that we're talking about, everybody resists change, but it makes it a whole lot easier if we just take on the responsibility and not put it on the county commissioners, and we change our sign with a little piece of sticker or whatever for one election cycle. And then from now on, 10 years from now, everybody will go, we didn't even know it was that way before, right?
Yes.
Pretty much.
That's correct.
I just want to make sure I knew where we were at.
Yes, sir.
And what the consequences were by making those changes.
Doesn't change the cycle we run in or anything. It just changes that little sticker.
Because you're doing eye with eye, they can even, it won't put you, be wrong.
Once again, I have no dog in this fight. I know that there's been other decisions that we have postponed to the next board meeting to make sure we had a full body. So that was the only reason. I have no input to share on Ms. Boyle's feelings, one way or the other, whether she was for it or against it. So.
Well, my reason for going ahead and voting now, 2 weeks from now, I might not be here. I might be sick. And we can't wait another one for Cameron Asbill. Paige Brookins is always doing something, getting hurt. She may not be here.
Well, there've been a lot of meetings, a lot of work.
Yeah,
Yes,
I mean,
right.
this is
I
not
agree.
this is not the first time we've seen it.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
We
I'm not arguing with you.
We have two different
votes.
votes, yes. The first is which option we want, and then the second vote is whether we will be aligning our district numbers with the county commission.
Okay. So
Are you ready to entertain a
Yes,
action
we
item?
are.
do I have a motion about the lines being drawn in the county lines?
And which option you're talking?
Which option?
And which option?
So from a non-political standpoint and looking at it the way it should, I think, I recommend, or I move that we adopt option A1.
Second.
Oh, sorry.
It has been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion?
But we could talk about it for hours, but
Right.
I mean, it's, I think it's least impactful understanding our county, in my opinion. Ms. Tammy, every time I think about this, I have to think back to what you said earlier, that we represent the whole county. Because I keep just wanting to look over there, but we got to look at it all. And my biggest concern, the biggest change would have been that the Chiefland Fanning.
Right.
The option A1 to me, from my standpoint in the Williston area, from a school standpoint, picking up that southern southeastern region represents in the Williston better, in my opinion, than running that district all the way up to basically the back end of the school. So I don't think either way it changes. Mr. Asbell, you're northwest or east corner just a little bit one way or the other. And those students probably do this one way or the other. So
yes, sir.
Geographically understanding our population, our county, and the way our county thinks, I just think A1 represents the thinking the best.
I couldn't sum it up better. I think if you talk to a Levy County citizen, they think that that's how they would think our map lies out. They would think that is Ms. Brookins' district, my district, Ms. Lindsay's district, Ms. Paul's district. That's what he would think when looking at it.
Okay.
And I think that's most comfortable for people.
I think so.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Motion passes. Now do I hear a motion on the school board numbers in our districts aligning with the county commissioner numbers?
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion?
I think it's the smartest thing we could possibly do.
I agree. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion passes.
Comment was not productive. County commission's welcome. We took that in our own hands, and we can all,
Make sure you tell
we
them,
can all
Wilbur.
sing kumbaya.
Wilbur, tell them that.
I will have her.
We can sing kumbaya.
More important,
So you thought it was gonna be difficult.
Madam Chair, members of the board, Superintendent Coward, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So we appreciate y'all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Eastman, you're up.
Go Bulldogs, right? And then Bulldogs. You wore red. I'm upset. This is
Thank you,
kind of
Ms.
orange.
Jones.
Thank y'all for coming.
Thank you.
Enjoyed it. Good for that, good then. Good evening, board
Good
members.
evening.
We are requesting permission to advertise RFPs for the Bronson Middle High School and Yankeetown gyms to have a design-build HVAC. And then this project was approved in the ESER 2, and we want to advertise now to come back in January to give you all a recommendation.
So I want to be clear that it will not be taken away from our building funds now. It's two different funds. And just go ahead and explain that. I mean, I think I'm right, but just we can explain that.
Yes.
So we-
Answer two.
This is part of our new money that we got from the federal government.
ESER 2.
ESER
2.
In this case. And it fits into the scope of the work in regard to improving the air quality. And this is just one of the things that we're doing for air quality. We are going to replace a lot of our existing air conditioners in all of our classrooms, filtration systems. But this is obviously a big ticket item in regard to air quality. Our HVAC systems in the Bronson Gymnasium and the
I think that's great.
So in the bid process, is each one of those going to be set separately, or is that a package deal?
Separate.
Yes.
Okay. So we can handle those items one at a time.
Yes,
I'm
we've
quiet.
already had some pre-engineering done, and because of the differences in the actual structure, Yankeetown actually will be a little higher than the Bronson Gymnasium. The Bronson Gymnasium originally was designed for HVAC that was not put in, but because of some structural engineering that is already there, it'll be a little cheaper to do Bronson than it will Yankeetown.
And we have currently the locker rooms at Bronson are in addition space not so at Yankeetown. And the Yankeetown proposal will be for that, if the money comes out and have locker rooms and the gymnasium at Yankeetown, bring them on par with the other campuses.
Well, I moved to advertise for the RFP, brought middle high school and Yankeetown schools for air quality.
Air quality.
Sand Gnats and Eagles are tough. We can handle the heat, but we need good air quality.
I agree.
Second.
I agree. It's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Motion passes.
Thank you, Mr. Eastman.
I know we've all had a chance to look over the minutes from last meeting. Do I hear a motion to approve them?
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Consent agenda. We've all looked over it, and each of us have spoken to Mr. Cowart this week. Does anybody have any comments on our consent agenda? Mr. Asbell?
No, ma'am, all my questions were answered.
Brookins?
Yes.
Okay.
So, Mr. Cowart, there's a contract,
FII.
Yes.
Yes,
And it
ma'am.
was an increased amount.
Correct. So that's why we're bringing it back to you. So that contract is increased from 80,000+ to 100,000. However, even with that amended price increasing, the district will see a savings of $38,000. So because we had a permanent employee that left us and went to Marion County, and with our contracted services, we're going to see a reduction. And with the same, an increased amount of hours. So we will be making out better with $38,000.
That is wonderful. Thank you very much.
Dr. Hall did that, so.
Great, good. That's all the questions that I have right now. Thank you.
Just for inquiry, I see we're deleting some 21, almost 22-year-old buses. Are those still in operation today?
No, they're located out at Hilltop. They could be put back in service if needed, but it wasn't my intention to ever put them back in service.
Okay. And my other one is how do we buy a 2003 bus that costs $58,000 and a 2000 bus that costs $71,000?
One of them is a D-style pusher bus, which makes a big difference on the initial pay, close to $15,000 more for the D-style.
A pusher bus?
The engine in the back, flat nose.
Gotcha. I just wondered, was for inquiry only, but that's it.
And all my questions were answered. So now it's time for superintendent's comments.
No, we have to vote on it.
No, we're gonna vote. Okay, do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor say yay.
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 Yeah. All those opposed, same sign.
It's so much better being here than there.
We're getting to the end. Okay, sorry. Mr. Superintendent.
Yes, ma'am. So, I would share that our appropriations were filed with the House and the Senate for the remaining funds that we were asking for the Chico Middle High School special facility. And I'll be making a run up next Tuesday to Tallahassee to see Senator Bradley and Representative Harding. So I've talked with them on the phone, and Ms. McDougal has put some things in place and shared with them along with some other representatives up there. So also, not to steal some thunder, but I know we have cake and pie auctions that are coming up, so that have been going on for many generations. And one of them is the Cedar Key Junior class, which will be on the 23rd. And then I think Ms. Brookins will probably speak about one that's coming up. So I won't steal her thunder on that. But I will share that Chico Middle High School drama group has a play this Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. So they had last weekend. And I saw
Stealing my
I'm
thunder.
stealing her thunder, so I apologize. So,
How's that feel?
So the last thing is I want to remind you that to mark your calendars for December 3rd for the topping out. So at Chiefland Middle High School.
So I looked on the calendar, and that's when we are in Tampa at our meetings.
We'll be back. We'll be back for that. So
Okay.
What time is that? Do you know?
noon, I believe. So. And there's no ethics, so that day, so ethics is online, so we'll be able to be back in time. That's it.
Okay, now it's time for board comments. We'll start with Mr. Asbell.
All right. I don't have much. Well, first of all, we all know what's going on. Let's all remember Miss Boyle. She's a tough old gal. Like, I'd probably stayed home. I wouldn't come to start with. Got to give her credit. That's true dedication. The only things I have is this year the Veterans Day Parade this upcoming Thursday will be held in Bronson. The parade will be that afternoon. So anybody that's able to come, we encourage you to come. Our veterans are mighty, mighty important to those of us that enjoy our freedom. And the only other thing I have is, once again, is the Bronson FFA Alumni Low Country Boil coming up on the 19th. We'll also have a cake auction that night too. There will be a drive-through type cake auction. They'll run it all day, and you can pick your cake up that afternoon. But if anybody needs a ticket, anybody buys them from me, I guarantee an extra potato for that person in the Low Country Boil. I have tickets with me because a friend of mine asked me to bring them, and they are available. If you need them, like I say, I can guarantee you an extra potato. And that's all I have at this time.
Thank you. Ms. Perkins?
Chiefland Middle High School does have Radium girls, the play, and I did see some comments. Did you go see it?
I have not. My plan is to go this week.
Yes, my plan is to go this week too. And then we always have the annual pie auction, and that's the week of Thanksgiving week. Do you have the date on that?
It is the 18th. So
The
yes, ma'am.
18th. So that is the same day as the Thanksgiving meal
Yes.
for everyone at their schools. Okay, and then I think that's all I have, and we'll all be praying for Ms. Boyle.
Mr. Etheridge?
Don't have a lot. This is my favorite time of year. Okay, parent-teacher conferences. Thank you.
You're welcome. Just trying to be.
November 15th, 4 to 7 at the school.
Yeah.
Yes.
Is that it?
Yep.
Oh.
Yeah, no. But yes, thank you. This is my time of year. I love Thanksgiving, Christmas time, weather change, all those good things, and a lot of activities. Kids are busy, changing of the seasons for sports, and hoping that prayer and things, looking for a great new season. So, but I said when I started that I would end with a year's notice, and today, November 1st, November in 2022, we'll have an election for a school board seat, and it'll be available. I'll finish out my term this year, and that seat will be available for the running. So it'll be a whole year of opportunity for someone to get prepared to run a campaign for the 2022 election for my school board seat. That's all I have.
That's all.
That's all.
Well, that was a bombshell.
And I'm sad to hear that.
I know.
Wow. It's there's really not a reason other than I think there's always a time to come and there's a time to go, and I'm not going to say I'm a term limits guy at the school board level, but I think when things have matured to where they're at, and I think there's opportunity for somebody with different leadership to step in and take over, and I think it's that time.
Thank you, Mr. Etheridge. I don't have a lot tonight. We're having in Yankeetown, we're having a big Veterans Day celebration tomorrow, and the Bronson JROTC is coming, and the Williston Middle High School Jazz Band's coming at 9 o'clock in the gym. So very excited. Like Mr. Asbell said, veterans are very near and dear to my heart, and I'm proud to be in a county where we have the day off on Thursday, and not all counties honor that. So, and that's all I have. So, meeting is adjourned.